Hello, everybody, and welcome to another stream. Um, a few of the things that I was doing this past week, unfortunately, didn't seem to be very productive on some aspects. But I was trying to refine and figure out a way for um, the flight sequence and when you actually exit the plane, because I previously had it on a sequence. And the one thing that I ran into was that while I was able to exit the plane, I could not change the camera. So from the start of the sequence, what I was running into was that at least to what my understanding is that the camera that was attached to the plane was going to be stuck with you until the sequence ends. So basically, I was either going to have to end the sequence, which would kind of look a little odd when you fill out of the plane and the plane just disappears or it stops moving, or figure something out. So what I ended up doing was I ended up running the sequence, or not, scrapping the sequence, and then just flying the plane on the spline, which actually worked out great. So now what would happen is, and I'll show you shortly, the the plane just flies like before. You can control it, or to some extent, you kind of just you're able to move your camera around, and um, but once you jump out of the airplane, that's when um, you detach yourself, because like the skeleton and the actor, the player, is attached to the plane. So you detach from the plane. What I have it set up is you go into a ragdoll state, and that way you kind of flail around as you fall down, and and then you hit the ground basically, right? 'Cause, falling out of the airplane, and that's how I managed to transfer the camera, to do the view target blend from the plane camera to the player. Yeah, unfortunately, I was hoping I could do it via the sequence, but that didn't seem to work out so well. So let me show you how this looks. I'm just gonna switch from here. And let me see, I hope I'm having it as the test. Yes, I do. Alright, so just like before, you're in the plane and the plane flies. I just need to fix it so that the arms are grabbing onto the controls. And once you jump, right now it ignores, for testing purposes, it ignores that little area where you can jump out of it. But what happens is when you press jump, oh, actually maybe it doesn't. Maybe I actually fixed that. So let me start, maybe start over, and let's see. Yeah, I couldn't remember if I actually had that fixed where, yeah, so right now, as you can see, you can't jump here. There's a little message, and once I'm over that jumping area, let's see, where is it happening? And there it goes. So right now it's just the player just kind of falls to the ground, and there you landed. Now, let me see about this, because I'm actually wondering if the player got detached from the plane. Oh, yeah, and the one thing that I mistakenly was doing was destroy the plane, so I should actually let it fly for a little bit longer before I destroy it. So let's see, this one is somewhere over here. Alright, so once you start the game, so what happens is right now you're with the plane camera. I'm just gonna eject for a little bit just to make sure that the player character is in the plane. So there he is. And I'm just gonna control him. And I wanted to make sure it detaches properly. So that's kind of interesting, yeah. So I think what I did is when I hit the ground or a surface, I'm destroying the plane at that point. But I'm trying to figure out where the character is. So I'm controlling it here, but it doesn't look like the mesh itself got detached from the plane, from what I can tell. So let's go back and fix that. I thought I had it fixed earlier, but I did have a crash when I was working on this, and I'm thinking maybe that got lost. Alright, so let me open up these blueprints. Got this plane jump point. It doesn't really do much. It just tells the it changes a variable on the plane, so that way you can you know that you're inside of the space where you can jump out of. Alright, so let's take a look. I'm gonna look for the plane as well, which is here. So let's edit this as well. Alright, so a few small changes I did on detaching the player. Let's try this one more time. Kind of wondering why that's happening, why the mesh it does, because right now you can see the knees, they're right there. So when I can't jump right now. Let's see, when I overlapped I need to move a little faster. So when I jump, let me just pause this right before. Oh, there he is. So he did get detached, but let's see, do I have the oh, interesting. This guy got left up here, but why? So let me try a bit of a different approach to to attaching, because this is something that hasn't really worked out for me very well. Whenever I do the and they're also pretty, especially it works when you attach something to the player character, but when I try to attach like the character to an actor, uh, this is where things just get pretty confusing, um, and this is where I'm kind of running a little bit into issues. So what I was trying to do is to position the player in the seat. You know, I had a position for this player location, which on the in the plane, the player location is basically here, so that way he can look like he's sitting in the seat, and that's how I attach the mesh itself. But then there's also the player actor that I wanted to have it kind of move along with the plane, and that one I'm attaching via this attach actor to actor, because if I just attach the component, the mesh, then the actor is just gonna sit wherever it spawned, like in the world. But and in this case it's at 0, 0, 0. So I'm attaching the actors itself to um, um, to the plane, but I'm thinking that I'm not sure if this is like, I'm not sure if the component is gonna, when I detach him, if it's gonna um, act properly. So I'm gonna try to test. I'm gonna attach actor to actor first, and then in here when I actually jump, I'm just gonna detach from actor and see if that works, at least to get the player to fall and for its mesh to follow along. Alright, so let's test this out. Alright, so as you can see, yeah, that this is one of the issues, that the mesh is just kind of honky acting. Not sure why that is, but so now let's jump, and jumping looks like I am grabbing the character, and I did land. So though the camera got all somehow got messed up, that is not ideal. But I still don't really get why the camera doesn't transition. So what I did was, so I'm setting the render, the view target with blend to go back when you jump, to go back to the camera, and then I'm detaching from actor. But I don't understand why the camera is moved in that weird position. Also, one thing that I want to try and do is, so I have these these limiting pitch and yaw angles, so that way you can only look, you know, not too far to the side, because that might start spinning the character. That's like a thing with ALS, and so that's why I'm just limiting how far up and down you can look, and then side to side. So let me try and reset these once you jump. I can't remember if I was doing that. If I was doing that already. Alright, so I'm gonna try and do that real quick. So now you're falling, and we're doing all this stuff here. I also wanted, the other thing that I wanted to do is, let me also try starting the ragdoll once you jump out of the airplane, and then once you hit the ground, that's when you kind of pass out. And I should make that make the plane move a little faster, I think. So yeah, the player is there. Alright, so he's jumping, which is good, but the camera is still weirdly positioned. I am really not sure how that ended up to happen. So I'm gonna try just something else. Instead of attaching it to that child actor, because I had a child actor to try and position the character a little bit better in the plane. I'm gonna try and see if I can just attach directly to the plane. It's gonna look a little weird, but I'm trying to figure out the issue with the camera. This is something that I haven't really encountered the last time I was looking at this. So it's all odd. Alright, so I'm in the plane with the camera, which, I mean, this is the plane's camera, which, you know, is the one that's a little bit limited. So now once you jump, he's falling, but then the camera manager is that somehow detaching from it? I'm gonna try something else, because I can fake the body inside of the plane with like a little different you know, character, but like another pawn. But I wanted to see what's happening with this actor. So instead of spawning it here, what I'm gonna try and do, I might just try and spawn it once you jump out of the plane. So I'm gonna try and do that. That's a little bit I mean, it's only going to happen at the beginning, but I'm hoping that might help. So let's try that out. First, I wanted to make sure that with the plane I do get a interact on jump, so that way I can call that up. So basically it's here when I jump that I'm gonna try and spawn the character. Maybe that's gonna solve the issue with the camera being all weird. So let's grab my initialization here, and I'm not gonna need these actually, so I can bypass all this stuff, and I'm just gonna go straight to set view target with blend, Alright, let's see if that one actually oh, and why am I having some trouble here? Okay, yeah, because I don't really need this section either. Gonna see for starters if hopefully I'm in the plane. I can't remember if removing the character actually is gonna, yeah, it's gonna cause some issue removing the character. So I'm gonna spawn the character at 0. I'm not gonna attach it to the plane. And then when I jump, since there's nothing to detach from, I'm gonna grab the character, which I already know it's set, and I'm gonna set actor location to be right around the plane. It's, you know, it's not gonna be perfect at the beginning, but I'm just gonna get actor location so that way it looks like he's coming from somewhere in the plane. Let's try this out. And then the gravity scale is going to be set to 1, so it's falling, it's not in the vehicle anymore. Ragdolling, and I'm going to reset the view angle so we can look around at all angles. Alright, let's see what this breaks. Alright, so I guess that could be set a little bit better. And now, let's see where I can jump. Oh, what? Oh. Yeah, so I guess that's a little bit of an issue as well, that when I'm at that jump point, I am not, since the player is not attached anymore, there's no way to set that that you can jump. So let's see, is this guy generating overlap events? I can't remember where the if it was like in one of the meshes. It's generating overlap events. So on jump point, and my apologies for the sometimes that's why I don't want to show blueprints, because they sometimes get messy before I clean them up, and this one being worked on recently, it is messy. Okay, so that doesn't generate an overlap, and that's why, you know, that's why having that character was, you know, having that attached to the plane was something that was useful for me. But I can't figure out why it's messing up the player camera manager. Once you jump out of the plane, it just doesn't transition back to it properly. So let me try this one more time. Alright, so I'm going to do attach actor to actor, and then I'm just going to do detach from actor. And I want to keep the location rule as world, because the ones that are relative are probably relative to the plane, and that doesn't really work so well once you jump. Alright, so let's try this again. And while this loads, another thing that I was working on, yeah, so you kind of picked yourself off the floor, because I think that's where the player is, somewhere at the bottom of the plane. And I think I missed my jump point. Oh, there it is. Yeah, so it jumps and it does what it's supposed to, you know, kind of falling down. The problem is the camera manager, I'm not entirely sure why it's just like, it's not attached to the body anymore. And even once you go back into you know, because the way that happens is, you know, you're gonna fall, you're gonna ragdoll while you're falling, and that way, the reason that I wanted to do it that way is that it's gonna move the bone, the neck bone and the head bone a little bit, so it's gonna look a little bit chaotic as you fall down. And also, once you hit the ground, just by pressing forward, you can get out of ragdoll. The problem is that I can't figure out what's going on with this damn the camera player manager, ALS, or the player manager, camera manager. It's a combination of. I can never figure out which one. So why would it, once you detach from actor, let's I'm actually gonna cancel this node because I don't need that anymore. Clean this up a little bit. Let me try just setting, you know, kind of the gravity scale so you're falling, even though it's not going to be in ragdoll, it's just going to look like it's falling through the air. But I wanted to make sure that you can detach and actually have, see, like this is what I'm referring to, ALS Player Camera Manager. And one thing that I wanted to quickly look at, so Player Camera Manager. Oh, so I'm wondering if it just, well, when I did the set view target with blend, oh, I don't like this. I don't think this should be get player control to get player controller. Hey, JP Kruger. Thank you so much for joining, and thank you so much for the kind words. I really appreciate that. Yeah, what I was hoping for till I run into this little issue was to kind of show the first one of the drops, right? So like once you hit exit the plane, you know, you fall, and hopefully during the stream, you know, do a little bit of level design, you know, kind of a little bit more pretty on the eyes than these blueprints are in this spaghetti that I have. My apologies for that. But yeah, so it's I'm starting to think that having an issue here, like this one should be more in the lines of, so whenever you come on, stop it. Alright, so in here you get the player controller, and then the new view target is going to be the plane. So yeah, so basically I'm switching the camera from the player to the plane. Now when I switch back to the player, I think this one should be like this instead of, because I was doing get player controller to get player controller. Oh no, so you jump out and excuse me. So therefore, when you jump out, once you hit the ground, you pass out, and um, so that's kind of the easy way that I was thinking for a transition, because I don't really have a kind of a model for the plane crash where it burns and all that, or if it's like crashed and it's damaged. So this way you just jump out of the plane, and then the plane keeps flying for a little bit, and in the end it's going to destroy the actor. But all right, let's try this. I'm kind of curious to see. Hopefully this fixed it. Let's see. So JP, hopefully that makes sense. Yeah, yeah. And it's also, if it was like a kind of a cargo line, not a cargo liner, but like an airliner type of plane, I get it. You can't really jump out of it. But with this one, it is literally like there's an open door there and an open door there, and all right, let's see what happens if the transition. There you go, jump, jump, jump. So you're jumping. Okay, that's good. That's much better. All right, there he goes. That was it. That was it. So now I got now I can control the character back up. So and now let's it was that view target with blend. It was my mistake. Now what I wanted to do is I'm limiting the view angles, all that. Let's also do the positioning, because I'm thinking this might work at this point. Yeah, let me fix the view angles first. I don't think I was resetting them here, so it's not in vehicle anymore. Also, the other reason that I'm trying to work these in is that you're going to be able to drive the vehicle to get a car to get around the world, and I wanted to make it so that that's kind of like your stealth mode, so to speak. So once you're in the vehicle, the enemies won't attack you unless you're kind of getting either too dangerously close, or but also you can't get into a vehicle if somebody is chasing you, or if one of the enemies is chasing you. So that's what I was I'm trying to kind of implement that into this, and that's why it's kind of like really just prototyping here a little bit. So okay, let's try and see if the ragdolling works and how that looks. Oh yeah, and the other thing that I worked on this week is kind of hard lands. So I'll show you quick in a little bit how that works. And come on, jump, and yeah. So this is why I wanted to do it, because it's kind of like flailing once you do, and yeah, the transition like happens once you hit the ground. The problem is that, and I'm not sure if it's something that has to do with the ragdoll, but I'm still debating on that. I do have an animation of you once you fall, so let me try doing something else. I'm gonna bypass the ragdoll start, and then in my character I've implemented an event hit, so or not event hit, but event on landed. So let's take a look at that real quick if anybody is interested. And where is my character? Main character. Alright, so let's take a look at the main character here real quick. So what happens is once you jump off of something, what I'm doing first is I'm checking to see if it's in vehicle, and because of course it's not supposed to happen, and also if it's in plane, because kind of that's at the start of the game. And if none of those are happening, then I'm gonna check for a fall death. So that basically, if it's If you're jumping from too high up, then you're gonna die, kind of in a realistically speaking. And if the fall death is true, then you're gonna die. Or if you have something to break the fall that you hit, then perfect. You're not gonna die. But um, what's gonna happen with the break fall? I'm gonna play either way. I'm gonna play a montage of this roll animation, and in my case is basically just kind of like a hard land type of thing. So I'll show you. But let's see. So this is basically what I'm using when I jump out of an airplane or just falling. Is this event all landed, and this can be implemented, and I believe it's something that's related to the character class. I'm not sure if Pawn has it as well. I think Pawn is like um, a parent class of character. I can't remember. Right. So if I'm probably not gonna have them in the beginning, because they're also something else they need to implement. I might think about it, but think, for example, like if you've played, let's see, maybe what comes to mind, the Dying Light. Like a kind of a parkourish type of game where you fall off of something and there's like a pile of trash or something like that that you can fall into. That's one of the um, break fall kind of um, uh, kind of boxes, right? Uh, the check for fall death. This what I'm doing here. I'm actually um, there's like a little bit of math, to get the velocity, calculating the fall height and time, and let's see if and I also have like a height depth. So if the falling height is greater than the height depth, then I'm gonna die. But anything below that, then I'm just gonna try and subtract a certain amount of certain amount of life and update the health. And the health, what I'm planning on doing, probably um, next week, and show it to you next stream, is implement the health stats in your little wrist device. So that way you can tell by looking at the wrist device that hey, you know what, you're about to die. So get some like a bandage or anything like that. And the hard land is basically I'm gonna show how the hardland looks, but I'm just playing a montage, which is literally this. It's just kind of a hardland montage. So depending on the height is going to be a hard land and play this and subtract a certain amount of life or die. And that's why I have it checked. So if the plane is valid, like the plane actor, and that's why I'm kind of destroying the plane at the same time. So when you actually, I'm destroying it on land. I actually could destroy it a little bit later, which might make it so that it's still flying a little bit longer. Um, but yeah, basically, if you're in the plane, you're not gonna, none of these are gonna get executed. Therefore, you're not gonna die. It only happens at the beginning of the game, so the plane actor is gonna be destroyed after that, anyways. But the one thing that I was, I'm not sure if that's a thing about the ragdoll, but it seemed like it was going through. It's not terrain here, but it's got collision. This water plane, so it should have landed on that. So for example, let's just try and do it without the ragdolling. So it's just going to be kind of a basic falling. So yeah, it's just kind of there. Okay, so now you can jump. So there he goes. He's falling. He's falling. He's falling, and there he landed. So that's fine. But the one thing I don't get is why is it when you're falling in, you're ragdolling, you go through the surface? I'm not sure. Maybe maybe the collision is set differently. Anyways, but I'm gonna switch it, and I'm just gonna move the ragdoll here. So basically, once you hit the ground and we're in plane, I'm gonna do a ragdoll start, and I'm gonna let this fly for a little bit longer. So maybe put a small short delay on here for like a couple of seconds, because I wanted to see once you hit the ground that you just kind of fall backwards or forwards or however the surface is you're gonna fall on. Alright, let's take a look and see if you go into ragdoll. And also the other thing that especially when you go into ragdoll with ALS, now this is talking about ALS, the camera is free to move around. Like you can, alright, so now you're falling, you have the control over the camera, and ooh, what's happening here? Oh, that's something new. It went through the surface of the water. Huh, that's interesting. Let me take a look at something on my character player. It is using this continuous collision detection, so that should give it a bit more accuracy on it. Let me see if the same thing happens if you fall over the terrain. So in this case, I'm just gonna mess around with this spline a little bit. Let's see, which way do I want? I want to select the jump point, then the spline, not that one, but this one. Come on. Oh, why is this so hard to select this damn spline? And there we go. So I'm just gonna, nope, not that. Alright, I'm gonna hide you. Alright, so I got the fall place, and then the spline. Hey, Seven Giants. Well, so I did switch from CryEngine to Unreal. I'm not sure if you were one of the subscribers from the CryEngine days, but to me, yes, as from a technical aspect, I can't really say, but from if you want to build a game, then yeah, Unreal is the way to go. If you want to create a nice looking scene, Unreal. I have to say, unfortunately, CryEngine is just it's not for indies. Let me put it this way. So I'm happy that I got some experience with CryEngine, because I ended up appreciating Unreal so much more. So yeah, it's coming from CryEngine. I'm extremely happy that I made the switch to Unreal. Okay, come on, what's happening here? So we have the spline, we have this point. Where's the plane? The plane is over here. switch the rotation. Alright, let's try. Was kind of wondering why it just looked like especially sometimes when you move things along a spline, you need to set the object rotation properly, and I think that's what I was running into. Alright, let's see if at least I'm hitting that why is this? It is flying on that spline, but it's not gonna hit the yeah, so it's flying all the way down there. But why is that? So let me see. I thought I was setting all the positioning on this as you move along. Seven Giants, so it's actually very quick. I have to be honest with you, like to me it was a little bit of getting used to, because like I use blueprints and I don't use C++ like I was using with CryEngine, and it's so much faster. Like doing things in Unreal is at least 10 times faster than in CryEngine, and that's for somebody that is not a professional. And of course, you know, the range of things that you can do and the documentation, yeah, there's no comparison, unfortunately. I mean, in my mind, CryEngine is just going to be an internal tool for Crytek. It was it never had the support to move anywhere past that. Alright, so I'm guessing this one's flipped a little bit. And you know, that's the other thing. You know, if you look at the market nowadays, tell me one indie game in the works right now with CryEngine. I haven't checked to see. Maybe there is something, but yeah. Like I've had times that I didn't even know how what I was searching for. Oh, actually, I think this is something that has to relate it to the axis of the spline. And I was able to put a very vague search, and this is like at the beginning of me working with Unreal. I put in a very vague search in Google, and I found the solution for that almost 95% match of what I had going on. So with CryEngine, in most cases, even if you do an exact search on something, you're not going to find a resource. So it's sad, but it's how things are. So what is going on with this? Why is it on this? This is annoying. Why is it flipped like this? Why is it rotated? Okay, so I am on this blind path. Why is it? There's the spline. It's moving along. And you know what? My pleasure to if you ever have any questions, it's I do have a Discord channel, and you can always try and reach out and at least, you know, even if I don't know the answer to your question, at least I can maybe point you in the right way. Um, Let me send you an invite here, and yeah, if you're interested, feel free to join. There's always people that love helping other people. So um, yeah, here's my Discord. You can find me on there, and yeah, that was the same um, that was the same issue that I had. Um, they kept on delaying releases, and they features would keep getting bumped off because they have a tiny team. They don't have a lot of money. I get that, and their focus is on Hunt. That's where their money goes to, and their focus is not on necessarily the engine as much. So, and I get that. It's a business in the end. But yeah, I gave like I think it was 2018, and I thought, okay, I'm just gonna give Unreal a month because they kept pushing up. I think 5.5. I think it was at the time. I can't remember. And it wasn't coming, and 1 month turned into 2 months, and after that, I'm like, okay, bye bye. And so I'm with Unreal ever since. So what's happening here? The forward axis. I'm always having a hard time with this forward axis, and I can't really get a good handle on it. So I guess we're gonna strafe with the plane for a little bit, and I'll probably figure that issue offline. Yeah, so it's just gonna strafe. But let's see once I get to the jump point, if hopefully it's gonna trigger that. Okay. Well, I went through the ground. Interesting. So the same thing happened there. I'm kind of wondering if... Oh, I have an idea. So once I hit the ground, let's see, where do I want to put it? It's going to be on the player, so on event hit, let's do a little bit of change here. So let's break this hit result where I'm hitting, and I'm gonna start the ragdoll, but I want to start it first. I want to set the actor location to be a little bit higher from this impact point. I'm wondering if just the physics are don't cope with it as well. So I'm gonna try this out, see if it works. Set actor location. Actually, no, it's just gonna be no, I think that's good. So I'm gonna set the actor location to this location and add a local offset. Oh, actually, nope, not that. I'm gonna do a location plus, and I'm gonna switch it up by maybe a meter or something. So let's see if I have any success with this. Oh, that's weird. Let me I'll send you my let's see, how do I get an invite? Here, this is my user, so you can add me as a friend and we can talk directly if you'd like. Okay, so let's try this change here and see how it goes. It's gonna look a little weird. I'm gonna try and figure out what's up with that with the rotation. why that axis is so weird. Alright, so we're flying and we're flying and we're above ground, I think. Let's see, are we above ground? Yeah, we're above ground. Okay, we can jump here. Come on. There we go. So now we're jumping. And we're falling. And we went through the floor. Oh my god. That didn't work out so well. Location. I'm actually wondering if it's the impact point instead of the location. Let's try this out. So I think it might be something related to, let's try this out first without the ragdolling. So it's going to be kind of the I guess what I could do is just for fun. Let's do a where is it? Check fall death. I'm just gonna do a hard land, like kind of the superhero landing, just for a little bit of fun here. Oh no, I don't want to do this. I just want to call it hard land from the player stats. I mean, it'd be cool, but yeah, it's not a superhero game. So let's see about this landing this time. I need to make this move a little faster. Okay, I guess I'm jumping here. Okay, so that worked, and it did move it up once it fell down. But why doesn't it do it when you ragdoll? Because I wanted to kind of pass out once you land. So why not? Where was I? And here. Oh, thank you, JP. Yeah, there's like played around with some of the lighting as well recently, so it's looking kind of cool. And you know, I got some of the night. And well, so let me do a quick. Let's see, what's the frame rate at the moment? It's not very glorious, maybe due to the streaming as well. So right now it's right around 40, 41, 45. It's I have a like one of those first gen 1070s. I don't know, probably about 5 years old. But right now it's also Lumen, so Lumen kind of takes quite a bit of so this is without Lumen, and it still looks pretty decent, right? And it goes to about 60. But you know, at night it still looks decent, but once you get into like the daytime, yeah, and this is also it's in engine at the same time. So once you go here, the one thing that I need to do is I'm setting for the ambient lighting, especially with Lumen, I'm setting up the skylight for a higher value. But what that does, and if you turn off Lumen, it looks a little too overly bright. So because here, if I was to enable Lumen, you know, it looks like that, which is pretty good. But then also the frame rate drops to about 40, which is still not too bad, considering the, you know, it's you know, lower than a mid-level computer what I have. So I can only imagine it on a modern video card it would run at 60 easy. So But yeah, and I hope there's more improvements to be done with Lumen as well, and I'll also throw in a few more no, not but a few open a few more of those because playing around with some of these variables do help with some of the um, like there's some screen space ambient occlusion that adds quite a bit to it, so it looks pretty decent. And and also at the same time, there's quite a few other optimizations that I need to do, but yeah, I think at this time, this is kind of where it's at least on my machine, right around 40-45 with Lumen and pretty much everything looking like this. But so yeah, I've also added some kind of far away type meshes so that you can get um, a little bit of the background type of visuals. Um, yeah, so uh, these particular they're using billboards. I'm not sure about the imposters. I've heard about imposters, but I haven't used them myself. Um, so, but yeah, overall it performs even like because I was thinking from like a flight perspective when the plane is gonna fly across the area, if how well it's gonna perform, and there's decent frame rate, for moving it around this area. You know what? That's exactly where I was getting some of my inspiration. I wish to be compared with something like that, but yeah, it's I keep going back and looking at Days Gone for lighting. I wish I could do the fog like they are doing it. I think they have some kind of fog volumes placed around the levels, so you get that nice ground fog. But yeah, they definitely have some pretty nice things going. And just to show, this is one of the areas I was working on this week a little bit, and also trying to unify some of the shaders for the rocks, because you know I do have some of the Megascan rocks, and I also have some of the rocks that are from the developer of this nature package, this Nordic conifer biome. And also, just to mention, if you're interested, these vehicles are from Sketchfab, from a user named Renafox, Renafox, and so he's got a ton of really cool looking vehicles. And so yeah, one of the things that I wanted to do is the original developer had this in its own separate shader, and I took some of what he had and also used some of the shaders that I had, so that way I can have the same detail, the same base color across all the meshes, and I just need to use this for some of these bigger cliffs as well. But yeah, this is what I want to do is right around here is going to be one of the fall points as well. So some time ago, uh, what I had done is I've created this one blueprint, and I can share it with you guys just to give you an idea. I was showing it back then as well. So let me see if I remember what the name of it was. Focus or something. No. Area. What was the name of it? Okay, so it's this. So basically, I was creating some of these boxes to place around locations that are of interest, right? Like kind of, I wouldn't call it necessarily like hero locations, but it'd be areas like this where you want to add a little bit of extra detail, like these cars, what are these cars doing here kind of thing. And so let me turn off this frame rate here for a little bit because it's not accurate anymore. So basically I was placing these around the area, like there's gonna be one here, one around where the gas station is, and other like inhabited location, to put a little bit more, because everything else is procedural, right? But with these locations I wanted to put in a little bit more effort, right? So the way this is, this little blueprint is, oh, why did I do that? Can show it to you real quick because to me it proved really useful. So let's see, I can't remember why this plane is still visible. I thought I had it hidden at some point. Oh, my bad. I actually had it so that I had it in game mode, so I was hiding all the helpers. So what happens is this one, it becomes like this once I have it. I just have a bunch of these boxes where I only have the outline. I think there's like a setting that you can just do the line thickness to 40. So yeah, basically once I have this area all set, like with all the details, story related details that I want to add in here, from it, whenever you pull it into the level is like that, right? So I know that, okay, here I want to do some work, and this one I'm also going to have something here of interest. There's also going to be something here of interest, so that way, when I'm all the way up here, I can be like, oh, what are the level of interest that I still have to do and that are not done? So I'm just gonna navigate to it and be like, oh, okay, you know what? I think to make it more clear to the player, I'm just gonna add a little bit of this and maybe a little bit of that. I'm gonna add a few more boxes or something like that. So yeah, I quickly wanted to share that with you, if hopefully it might be of interest to somebody. Okay. So with that said, let's get back to our thing. I got sidetracked here a little bit, but let's take a look at. Oh, thank you, JP. Let's see, where was that? I'm gonna close this because I don't need it. I don't need the player stats either. Yeah, so right here is where I'm hitting. So the impact point. Let's set it to. I'm wondering if I should do ragdoll first when you hit it, and then this, and then I can do the delay and then destroy the plane. So I'm not gonna need the hard land. I can just drag this down here. Alright, so basically when I hit the ground with the with that accuracy of whatever it is, so I'm hitting the ground, I'm going into ragdoll, and then I'm gonna move myself up a little bit from that impact point. So right now it's by a meter. Let's see if that does anything, and we'll see what happens. Alright, so yeah, I need to fix that little moving of the camera, and of course the way this thing is rotated. Alright, so I can jump here, and I'm falling, and I'm falling, and I'm falling, and I'm still going through the freaking ground. Alright, let's try and do a quick. So we're hitting the ground, we're landed. Let's set him even higher. It's kind of gonna be like a bouncing ball. Hopefully it's not gonna be that jarring, but let's see what that does. Oh, I forgot to alright, so we're flying sideways because that's normal. Alright, now we're jumping. Huh. That's interesting. I'm wondering if once you go into Ragdoll, can you even set the actor location anymore? So let's try and flip this the way it was before. So I'm gonna hit the ground and be able to set the player rotation or location. See if that helps any. And the other thing that I wanted to do today is I wanted to show you guys something that I'm using for my voices. I found this really pretty cool tool that works out really good, at least for my needs. Alright, so let's jump. Why is it going through the ground? Do I need to set a quick small delay here to physics to catch up? I don't know, let's try that. So yeah, I found this tool that it's somewhat, you know, kind of AI related to create some of the voice inflections and so on from whoever they hired for like voice acting to record some of the voices, and they actually work out really well. And I'll show you a little bit of that because I've recorded. I actually haven't exported it yet, so I'm kind of curious about that myself. Oh, hey, that actually worked. That actually worked pretty well. And now you're on the ground and you're in ragdoll mode. And then you just get up and off to the races. Okay, excellent. That's a great result. I'm happy that turned out pretty good. Okay, so now that you fall and you hit the ground, right? I have a little transition I worked on some time ago where you just kind of you close your eyes and it's just it looks like you pass out. But what I wanted to share is this tool called Replica Studios. Some of you might have heard of it, might be familiar with it. And let me show you a couple of the things that I've recorded because I wanted to give some indication of you know what happens at the beginning of the game. So okay, there he goes. And I'm just looking at the same time on my screen and seeing how big of a delay is between what I'm streaming and what YouTube is showing. So sorry about that. I think I have a really low, or like the lowest latency, but still. Okay, so let's add an audio to give you an idea once you fall, to put you in contact with somebody, right? And by next week I'll probably have kind of the falling through the trees, you know, noises and kind of the scream and all that. But let's add a couple of audio, and I'll show you what I did. I think it's on the sandbox. Okay, so this would be you when you're falling. Let me crank up the volume. Hopefully you can hear it.
Shit!
Okay, I think that was too loud, so my bad. Yeah.
Shit!
So the more you add it, it actually adjusts to it really nicely. Like this one, there's a different. And again, this one looks more AI-ish, kind of generated.
Shit!
Like this one's pretty good.
Shit!
Okay, so let me know if you can hear that. I'm kind of wondering because I have I'm not sure if it's coming properly through the mic or through the desktop audio. And so once you hit the ground and you wake up, um, or that little transition happens that you open your eyes. Um,
Hello, hello. Can you hear us? Please get up. Press W to get up.
yeah, so it gives you a little bit of a detail of. Okay, thank you, JP. Uh, gives you like the okay, this is where you should press, to get up, because right, you're being in ragdoll mode and you can only move the camera around. You don't really know what's going on. So let's I'm gonna try and export a couple of these and actually play them at the time of your jumping, and once you're being contacted to kind of wake up. So let's see. I'm gonna start with this one maybe. Let's see.
Shit!
Okay. I'm gonna use that. So let's do download that. And where do I want to place it? I think this is gonna be aptly named by the Scream, and then this one giving you the word on what to do. First dialogue maybe. I'm gonna need to come up with some kind of a naming convention for all the voices or the vocals for the NPCs. Okay. So you jump, and at that point I wanted to play an audio. So I have this little player audio component here that I've added to the player. So basically, so I have two of them. So I have one for footsteps, and that could also be used for like some of the other environmental sounds, and one for the audio component, which I'm gonna try and use, or at least my plan was to use it for dialogues. So I'm gonna try and use this for these two, the scream and then the little recording that you hear. Okay, so you are jumping, and that is here. So I'm gonna want to play the yeah, as you can see, I have this little eye shut template, which affects your kind of like I have a on my character. I have a post-process volume, so with that I can affect either give the visual of a mask, or in this case kind of close my eyes. So that's how I control that, and it's usually done through, let me see if I can take a look at that. Where is it? I thought if it's in here, then where is it? It looks like it's on a timeline, but where can I find it in this mess? Oh my god, I need to clean some of these things up. Okay, there it is. So right at the end, I'm setting, I have these collections of different, each one of these, if you're not familiar with a collection, I definitely suggest looking into it, because you can add you can use a bunch of these scalar parameters in various in various, in my case, post-process materials that are very useful. So so that's how I control it. Like, and you can let me see, where was I? In here. So you can have this set scalar parameter value done anywhere. So since this one is actually kind of straightforward, let's try and actually bring it in. Since we're kind of piecing some things together here, I'm gonna add that in here as well. So like that. And wherever you use this this material collection, in my case, let me show you if there's anybody that I haven't shown it to you yet. Let me see, where is my post-process? So I have a post-process on my character, if I can spell, and I have a set of materials here. So if you look for material, there's a few. So there's the gas mask, there's going to be something related to that. There's the screen damage, so, and the binoculars. So whenever you take damage, if you've watched some of the previous videos, you'll see there's like the little outline around the edges of the screen showing that you've taken damage. But in the case that we're looking at is this eyelids shut open. So let's take a look. This is being a post-process material. You'll see that right here I have this well, I think it's actually called a collection parameter. Yeah, so it's a collection parameter, and I'm providing the parameter name that this is going to add to this value. So basically right now, if we look in here, let's see, which one was it? It's strength. So I'm going to move this to the side, and we can just kind of look at, let me see if I can do a start a preview mode here. I'm not sure if it works so well, to be honest with you. With fortunately with the preview, when it comes to post-process material previewing, I don't think it does it as I was hoping it would. But let me I'll show you. We'll just jump into game mode, and maybe we can affect that in a way and show you what happens when I change the parameter in the collection, because that's what we're looking at. Alright, so right now I'm not sure. Let's try and change it here. I'm not sure if it's gonna work because I am not in this is the plain camera, but I'm gonna try and see if it changes anything. Yeah, it doesn't seem to be. Yeah, I think it might need to be on the character. So let's continue on. Oopsie, and jump into game mode and jump. So I guess I need to clear the interaction text. Alright, so now that you've fallen, and now I have control over that. Let's see if I can can't change it. Why is that? I was expecting that this yeah, I forgot one thing, because these are always set to 0. Nothing is gonna happen. You know, there's no control over this. So let me set this to 1, and I'll see if I'm kind of thinking that I might need to update this at the time of the fall. So basically, when you fall, you want to update one of the post-process materials to take into account your changes in the collection values. So let's take a look. So right now I've set that one to be a 1. I'm just hoping it's not gonna do it right off the bat here. Let's see. Alright, so we're flying sideways, and jumping. Yeah, there you go. Okay, so hopefully you were able to tell that the little blinking happened and you just passed out, and now you, of course, even if you move the camera around, there's nothing, because everything, I mean, like if I switch to this, to unlit, then you can see like we're looking around and everything is moving. But then in lit mode, the material had the the eyelids shut open material had its value applied. So if I was to go in and update it, let's see, where was the value? I guess I can't change that at runtime. It's already been set. So that's how I perform this little change in, you know, when you fall, I can, you know, close the eyes. And now what I'm gonna do is, when you get up out of ragdoll, oh, so one thing that I aside from this, I also wanted to play the little scream. And you know, so that was, I was thinking of that as well. I'll see how easy it is to do, because I wanted to have slightly different gameplay based on the time of day. I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to do that for like what I wanna, this little first build that I want to do in the next few weeks, you know, couple of months or so. But that was, you know, JP, that was my thinking as well. You know, to be honest, at the beginning, I was thinking, you know what, I should be changing the time of day and changing it to nighttime. So yeah, exactly. It's definitely in the beginning. You know, the first release is definitely going to be Easy Street. You know, just let's see what how people run it, how many crashes they get, and so on. Okay, let me import the what was I gonna say? The dialogues, and try and play some audio as well to see how honky that's gonna sound. Alright, so let's do audio. Is it in dialogue? I think that could be it, so I can bring it in here. Okay, so they're very aptly named. First dialogue, and I'm not gonna say that. YouTube is gonna have a fit. Okay, so the first one is the colorful expression. So let's play, and then this is gonna be set audio, I believe, or set sound. I think it's set sound. So setting the sound, and then we're gonna play it. Okay, so this is the first one, and play it. Start time at 0. Oh, actually, I'm not playing it, and I'm not setting in the right place. But in here, there's gonna be the other one, like the first dialogue. It's gonna play in here. Let's do a quick sequence. So, and again, my apologies. Hopefully, I'm not confusing anybody with all the, you know, pasta carbonara and spaghetti that I'm throwing up around here. Okay, and let's see. So I have the little dialogue in the beginning to kind of instruct you to get up, and the next thing that I wanted to do is when you jump, I wanted to play that as well. So this is on jump, and I do have a montage of you falling, so I might use that so it's not like you're falling straight down, you know, like feet first, though it's kind of makes sense as well. Alright, so in here, just gonna get the base character, and I can't remember what was the name of it. Player audio component. So player audio component. Alright, so this is gonna be set sound to our colorful thing here. Let's do this one down here and then this one here, and then let's play this. So this is a first for me because I have not used this yet. I've used the footsteps, and yeah, I need to do the footsteps as well because this terrain does not have any collision or like I think they're called like collision profiles for the various surfaces, so I need to do that as well. Okay, so now we have the sound from you jumping. We'll see how that sounds literally, and once you land. And I'm kind of thinking once you land, maybe have a little bit of a delay here, so not play it instantly. Let me do a delay of maybe 2 seconds. I think that should be fine. Okay. Let's see how this goes. And I'm gonna save real quick. Alright. Whoops, I guess I still have an old setting on the... I'm gonna crank it up a little bit.
Shit!
Okay, that sounds a little interesting. Okay, so now you're on the ground.
Hello? Hello? Can you hear us? Please get up. Press W to get up.
Alright, and there you go. So you're up, but I need to also open the eyes once you get up. And let's fix that. So once you get up, let's see, that is in, I need to end ragdoll. So, but the audios play. I need to work a little bit on the volumes and the pitch. It sounds a little, not sure if very natural, so to speak. And but they do play. It does what it's supposed to from an audio standpoint. But what I wanted to do is actually open your eyes back up. So literally, this timeline played backwards, but I need to figure out where to put it. So ragdoll start. I have a ragdoll start here. So I'm doing that from the parent, which is going to be one of the other ALS characters. Now it's a good question on whether to override that. Yeah, I think let's try and do that. I cannot remember if it was recorded somehow, if we had a variable for ragdoll. Yeah, let's try it out. I'm gonna try at least to set it up. So I'm gonna be a ragdoll end. So we got the parent ragdoll end, and oh, I forgot. This is so silly. You can't do a timeline in a function. So I'm just gonna try and do. I guess I'm gonna have to hack it into a little bit of a custom event. So vent, eyes wide shut. Anyways, and I'm gonna use this to play from start, and then let's compile this real quick. And this one's going to take a parameter of forward, and if this is true, I'm going to play it from the start, and if it's false, I'm going to reverse from end. Basically, if eyes were shut is true, then I'm going to close my eyes and then open. So I'm going to try and replace that here. Eyes wide shut. To go there. So it is closing it, and then in my ragdoll and it's wide shut, so hopefully it's going to do that backwards. Alright, let's try that out. And why does it not like that? Say what? Oh no, do I have another one named like this? No, there's only one. Why does it complain about it? I don't really get it. Couldn't match any parameters on the functions eye wide shut. Do I have something that conflicts with this? That is weird. Let's see if I do a refresh all nodes. That's another useful thing to if you refresh all nodes, sometimes they get like in this case here. Not entirely sure why that was necessarily an issue, but apparently it was. Okay, well, let's try and see if first of all, I'm gonna turn down the volume a little bit. So once you get out of the ragdoll, if your eyes are gonna open, well, they're gonna open basically to this because I've changed some of the default settings in my post process in the collection. So I'm gonna fix that. But alright, so it's not really playing at the right time. Alright, so now you fall and you're kind of passing out, but it's not getting up. Alright, so the it is playing, but what did I miss? Did I not on the down plane? Oh, not it was when you hit the ground. So oh yeah, I forgot to check this here. Okay, so one last try and hopefully that will be a good end for the stream for this week. Alright, so yeah, I need to fix this little they're too closed. Alright, so we're jumping, we're playing the audio, and we're kind of, hey, there we go. And now,
Hello, can you hear us? Please get up. Press W to get up.
alright, so now you get up and you open your eyes and you're at it. There we go. So now first mission, let's make this a little bit bigger. Alright, so that's quite a ways to go. And then you go through the forest and you walk, and that's that. So great. I am actually one thing that I wanted to do is fix this little collection thing here. Let's see. Hopefully I can do it at runtime. I think I should be able to. I don't see why I wouldn't. So let's pause the game here. And what? Oh, there it goes. So this one should be -1, -1. Alright, perfect. So there's our flight. And jumping, jumping, jumping. And we're falling, and we're falling. And there. I guess, yeah, the audio's played a little.
Press W to get up.
The audio's played a little too early, so maybe you could play it a little. I could wait a little bit until I play that audio. So yeah, that should make it a little bit more realistic. Okay, so there it is. I'm by next stream. What I plan to do is actually refine the path a little bit, so it kind of takes you over the areas that are of interest. Well, yeah, thank you, JP, and like I said, thank you so much, everybody, for stopping by. I'm about to end anyways. I kind of managed to show everything that I wanted to show. I was hoping to do a little bit more level design in this stream, but there's quite enough level design left to try it out for next week. And because I know that the kind of the spaghetti stuff is not the funnest thing to look at. It's always good to also see results. So I was happy that some of these things got fixed, but there's some things that I need to refine by next week, and you know, mainly add a way to tell the health level via the wrist device, and you know, set up the flight path to be a proper flight path and where it goes. So yeah, and maybe kind of adjust some of the settings of your scream when you fall from the plane, and the initial instructions of from Jane. So thank you everybody for stopping by. I really appreciate you, and hope you have a great week coming up. And I'll see you. I'll try and do a stream on Saturday as well, not only Sunday. It's kind of up to my schedule. Sometimes Saturdays can get a little bit tricky, but I'll try my best to do a Saturday as well. Excuse me. And yeah, I'll see you next week. All right, take care, everybody. Bye.